Luna and I stepped out of the AB room. I could see the others filing out of their rooms as we did.
So you chose Ally after all.
Yeah. To be honest, the AB game was the last thing on my mind. As chaotic as my thoughts were, they all centered on the one thing. The mysterious white liquid.
Do you want to go see the results?
Sure. Luna nodded and walked off toward the projection, but I couldn't move. I glanced around to make sure no one was watching, and opened my hand. The liquid didn't seem to have clotted or run out, since it was still oozing thickly out of the slit in my hand. What the heck is this? It couldn't be blood, could it? No, that was impossible. No matter how many white blood cells come together, you'd never get anything that looked like that. So here's a question that now I'm actually curious about. Is a white blood cell actually white, or is it just called white because of its different function? I actually don't know that, and now I'm thinking that, or this is just a really silly joke. I've never seen my blood do this before. In 22 years of life, I've seen my body bleed many times. Scraped knees as a kid, accidental nicks with a knife as an adult. But every single time, I'd bleed red like any other human being. So why was it that this time it was white? What the balls, man?
Hey, Sigma, what are you doing? Get the hell over here. They're gonna show the results.
We know, it's fine. On my way. I did my best to compose myself and headed over to join the others. They're colorless, technically?
Results from round 2.
So it is based on their
of the
function.
Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please direct your attention to the results screen.
Nice. 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 See, if every round could just be that, we'd be fine. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who, if they all just choose ally, 7 people would get out. Alice and Tenmyoji would not. But we've never seen all the numbers this high.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly. Please check your bracelet to see your...
We all just did.
This is incredible.
Granted, it was technically only one person from each group actually voting. But maybe we should just do that.
Look, everyone voted Ally.
Looks so
You
happy.
did just like you promised, Kay.
You're fake, aren't you? I can just cut you and you're gonna bleed white
How
too.
could I choose Betray after what Phi said to me?
Tenmyoji and Dio voted Ally too.
Of course. If we hadn't, Alice would have died.
Yeah, well, that's about it, I guess.
We should
You
thank
blame
the
Dio?
both of
I
you
do
as
too.
well. I'm happy to see you also chose Ally.
Oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. That was all Sigma.
Then thank you very much, Sigma.
You're welcome, Zen Dad.
Sigma? Sigma, are you alright?
I can talk in
Come on,
ellipses.
what's wrong? Just say something.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Looks like we all allied. That's great.
Sigma, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, you've been acting a little out of it ever since we came out of the AB rooms. What happened? You make it past at Luna and get shot down?
Kinda?
Hey man, it was a joke. You remember what that is? A joke?
I'm looking
You're in
at
pretty
one.
bad shape, huh?
Frickin' Dio. Before Dio could continue, the heavy metal rumble of doors shutting echoed through the warehouse. Yeah, if they're with Dio, the reason that ally happened is because of the other person,
The
not Dio.
Ambidex gates have closed. Round 3 of the Ambidex game will be the star round. Star keys. There is no... The Ambidex gate...
We know that
We
part.
can open the gates as many times as we want to. Then that means...
I'm actually curious, Dim, how continuous hours are you able to stay up and be functional? I'm just curious. We're both narcoleptics, so I was curious what you're, because you're younger than me, but I'm wondering.
We can play the
What's
AP
your
game
record?
as many times as we like, right?
Hey, Zero Jr. said something about this, didn't he?
As soon as the gates close, your colors get all shuffled up automatically.
Mine's about 7 or 8, but I couldn't do a normal job because I'd have to wake up, get ready, drive to and back, so it would make sense otherwise.
The pair and solo assignments hop around a bit too.
So I was just curious.
Yeah. Right.
Also depends how much
Sorry
I
to be a
rested
pain, but,
beforehand.
could you all show me your bracelets? I want to see what all your colors and assignments
Like
are.
charging up my battery or something. Everyone nodded and held their arms out toward him. This is not okay. I stare at them, terrified to fall asleep, but certain that refusing would only draw more attention. So I held up my arm, hand tightened into a white-knuckled fist to hide the cut. When their eyes landed on my hand, my heart skipped a beat.
Huh.
I thought you had type 2 like me. Are you type 1? I thought we were both type 2. I might have had that backwards. Type 1 is where you can't control falling asleep. Where like it's coming over, you fall over and lay asleep. Type 2 is when you feel like you could do that and you can't control most of your muscles. So it's narcolepsy without cataplexy. That's what I have. You probably have type 1? Okay.
So Dio and Kay are a yellow pair. Luna and I are both pairs, but our colors are different.
Right. You're a cyan, and I'm magenta.
That makes Sigma the only solo, huh? A red solo. So what are the 4 we left in the infirmary?
Luna and I are pairs, so 2 of them are our partners.
That means the other 2 are solos. Although, I guess we don't know what colors they are.
Let's go find out.
They're probably green and blue.
Why's that?
Didn't you see them? There are a bunch of white doors in the Floor B warehouse. They have to be the next set of chromatic doors.
Ah, yes. Phi and I saw them as well. On our way back from the garden with the unconscious Quark. And there they were.
You had to go through the front? Oh yeah, you did.
Each one had a box just like the doors on floor A. Given that, I don't see how there can be any question. Those white doors are our next set of chromatic doors.
I think that our bracelet combinations will have to add up to white in order to open the secondary doors. The pairs are cyan, magenta, and yellow. You see?
Yeah. If we need to make white, then the other 3 colors would have to be red, green, and blue.
Right.
Color math.
Good. Now that we've got that figured out, I'm heading back to the infirmary for a bit. I want to check up on Quark and Alice.
Good
I shall
plan.
accompany you
The
then.
alive Alice.
Might as well
For
go with you, I
once.
guess. No real reason to hang out here.
Well, what will you 2 do?
I need to talk to Sigma about something.
What about?
Something?
Her usually pleasant expression had been replaced with something much more sullen. She must have noticed that there was something wrong with me. That was what she wanted to talk about. I was sure of it. Okay, fine. I managed to make my voice sound almost relaxed.
Whoa, hold on. A private talk? What are you guys plotting?
We're not plotting anything. I promise, it's nothing.
Fine, whatever. See if I care.
You did care, that's why you were complaining. Dio tossed his head with a mixture of arrogance and feigned disinterest, and marched out the yellow door. Temyoji and Kay quickly followed. In only moments, all 3 had disappeared. Oh, good touch. The door actually opening. So, what was it you wanted to talk about? I was almost certain I knew, but there was always hope. I did my best to act if it was genuinely confused.
Oh, I don't really like this room. Could we go somewhere else?
Okay.
Good. I found somewhere nice when I was looking for Alice earlier.
As strange as her request was, I had no reason to object. This is the bad timeline, isn't it? I kept my mouth shut and followed Luna as she headed off. Got like a stun gun or something. I mean, if she stabs us, if we're a robot, we should be fine. Garden.
You know this place?
Yes, well, sort of. I came here once when I was looking for Alice.
Oh, I see.
So, what brings you here?
Isn't this nice? This is the only place in the whole facility with anything green.
It's true. It is.
I feel kind of silly saying it, but it makes me think of the great outdoors. I think it's the perfect place for a serious conversation.
Or a
Being
murder.
surrounded by nature makes me feel happy.
Stabby. Stabby.
Oh, there's a bench over there. Would you like to sit down with me?
Gosh, she's so cute. She sat down softly and gently, and I lowered myself down next to her. So, what did you want to talk to me about? Instead of answering, Luna lifted the tiny birdcage pendant she wore into the palm of her hand. She was silent for a moment, and then began to talk.
Can I tell you something? This is actually a music box. Yes.
Really? She twisted the key on the bottom, and it made an almost imperceptible whining noise. When she released it, soft, clear notes drifted out. It's a nice song. No, why'd you bring that up, though?
Because I wanted you to know, I guess. I wanted you to know more about me. Maybe it's because I'm so shy, but I don't really have any friends. Or even any acquaintances, really. So I've sort of always been alone. It was really hard. I felt so lonely a lot of the time. And it hurt. It felt like I was just kind of going to collapse from the inside out. That was when I got this music box. Someone very important gave it to me. I didn't say anything, but I felt like there was an unspoken message behind it. Luna, happiness is closer than you think. Do you know Maeterlinck's The Bluebird?
Nope. I know the gist of it, or Sigma does. Starts on Christmas Eve. This brother and sister named Tittle and Mittel get asked to find a bluebird by this old woman, and they travel to the dream world. What? I've never heard that. Sounds cool. Or something. Anyway, supposedly if you can catch this bird, then you can make a wish come true. So they visit all these different places, but they can't find it. Eventually, they give up and go home, but when they wake up, the bird is in a bird cage in their hut.
That's right. It's a well-known story. And it teaches a simple lesson.
Like you said, happiness is closer than you think.
Right. It got me thinking. Maybe the person who gave me this music box was trying to tell me just that. I don't know if that's true. Maybe all of this is just in my head, but I really felt like that was what they'd meant. It was so kind. I kept it with me all the time, like a kind of good luck charm. But one day I realized something. There was another meaning to the bluebird. In Maeterlinck's original story, it doesn't end with them waking up.
There's more?
Yes. When Till and Mittel try to feed the bird, it leaves the cage and flies away. And then the story ends.
What about the moral, then?
It changes. Now the message is that just when you think you found happiness, you'll lose it again.
That's rude. I don't like that one.
I thought about that for a while, but in the end, it didn't change how I felt. I don't know what they intended it to mean when they gave it to me, but I decided how I was going to look at it. It means that happiness is something you should always be looking for, and it's only when you're pursuing happiness that you're truly happy.
I'd like to find it eventually, though.
Sigma. I think you might be Til-Til.
What?
You know, the boy who the old lady asked to find the bluebird on Christmas Eve.
What are you trying to say? Are you Mittel?
Can I ask you something?
You just did, but go ahead.
Where did you find Alice?
What does that have to do with anything?
Just answer me. Where did you find Alice?
Crew quarters. Room 2 in the crew quarters.
Where were you before that?
I was in the lounge. That was after we'd split up to go look for Alice. Oh, she's gonna do like map in her head. First place I went was the lounge.
So you went from the lounge to the crew quarters, where you found Alice. And then you rushed her to the infirmary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me this then. How do you know about the garden?
Well, snap.
Just now you said you'd come here when you were looking for Alice, didn't you? That doesn't make any sense.
Stop being
There
smart.
wouldn't have been any time for you to visit the garden while you were looking for Alice. So tell me, Sigma, how do you know about this place?
Well, I didn't know what to say. Look, I couldn't even explain it to myself. Why had I told her I knew about the garden? Why had I told her I'd been there before?
Sigma, are you a robot? Have you always been here?
That was straightforward.
See, it would make so much sense if you were. That would explain why you knew about the garden, and it would explain that cut on your left hand.
So you did see it.
Yes. I've been told that robots these days have what's called artificial biological tissue, or ABT, on top of a metal skeleton. It makes them look almost exactly like a human. And ABT uses this white liquid instead of blood.
Couldn't they just add a dye to it to make it red? Come on. I mean, come on. Make them feel a little different. Not have this, like, revelation when the robot's trying to realize it's a robot. For some reason, when Luna had called me a robot, it hadn't really fazed me. Maybe because it was just so out there. It didn't sound like a real possibility. It sounded more like a theory you'd get from someone in a nut house. Yeah, time to check everybody's blood. My hand was still oozing white liquid. Was I really a robot? That was impossible. This isn't the movie AI. I needed to stop doing that. Questioning myself so much was giving me heart palpitations. Luna, aren't you a little scared?
Scared? Why would I be scared?
Well, let's say I am a robot. That means there's a pretty good chance Zero's pulling my strings. What would make you... That would make me your enemy.
Oh, I guess so. Well, even if you were, I wouldn't be scared.
Why not?
Maybe because you're a robot. Have you ever heard of the 3 laws of robotics?
These 3 laws of robotics were created by science fiction author Isaac. I'm going to play a large part in the robot series. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Later on, Asimov also developed another preceding rule, known as Zeroth Law, which first appeared in his story Robots and Empire. The Zeroth Law of Robotics. A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Clearly the Zeroth Law was priority over the first 3, so the first law would have the unwritten addendum, except where this would conflict with the Zeroth Law. Whether or not 016 was aware of this law is unclear, but in any event, 016 did act in accordance with it. 016 is a robot. We'll read those later.
They were a set of rules created by the science fiction author Isaac Asimov that he used in several of his stories.
We just read them. Oh yeah, I heard those. It's just an ideal, though. You could work toward that, but I don't think you'd ever actually achieve it. I mean, depending on how much you program them, robots could do pretty much whatever they wanted to.
Yes, you're right. But I believe in them. In you. However you're programmed, I don't think you'd break any of the 3 laws. A robot without the 3 laws is just a bunch of metal and plastic. That's not you. You have a heart. You're a good person. It's in your eyes.
Thanks?
I guess I'm just kind of assuming you're a robot. There's still a chance you're not. We should run some tests. Yes.
Tests? How?
Well, the atom should be able to tell us.
Oh yeah, that thing in the infirmary. I heard the crunch of dried leaves behind us. But when I turned, there was nothing. Who is it?
Is someone there?
Just me. Sorry,
Hi.
but can you guys come over here? I need you to see something.
How long were you there? Luna and I looked at each other, or Luna and I looked at one another, shrugged, and stepped into the bushes.
Welcome.
How long have you been
I
here?
just got here a little while ago.
Did you hear what we were saying?
No. Were you talking about something you didn't want me to know about? Whatever. Just have a look at this.
I followed the line of her finger. Oh, hi, Bomb. Balls. This is...
Antimatter bomb.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure someone didn't move it here from the crew quarters. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's an entirely different bomb. Look at the number on the side.
It says 1.
And the one in the crew quarters said 3, right?
So
And
0,
that
1, and
must
2, and
mean-
3, probably. Balls! And there's no question, huh?
I've got more good news. Just think about the numbers for a moment.
You're saying there's a 2 bomb out there somewhere?
I can't be sure, but it does seem pretty likely.
I remember somebody saying one of the April Fool's jokes that they remember in high school was releasing 3 pigs with the numbers 1, 2, and 4 into a school. Who was that? Because that's pretty good. Dang it. That means we're dealing with a combined explosive power equal to 3 tons of TNT. That was you, Joy?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I remembered that. I just remember who told us. That's such a great idea.
Who planted them?
Was it you guys? I mean, you've been in here quite a while.
Don't give me that. You're way more suspicious than we are. What were you doing in the bushes anyway?
Well, I was taking a walk.
Taking a walk? You really think I'm gonna buy that?
Fine. You got me. I heard you two were off talking in secret. So I got curious and went back to the Floor A warehouse. Of course you weren't there. That seemed pretty suspicious to me, so I headed here. And just as I'd suspected, there you were talking on the bench. I snuck up from behind so you wouldn't notice me. Then, just as I was getting close enough to hear, I found the bomb. So, believe me now?
That was pretty believable, actually. So who planted the bomb? Who set us up the
Honestly, it could have been any one of us. Anybody could have come here while we were all looking for Alice.
We need to tell everyone about this then.
bomb? Yeah, you're right. Let's head back to the infirmary. Onward to the infirmary. I want to get to the next leg of this flowchart. Everyone else was already there when we arrived. Clover and Tenmyoji, Kay and Dio, and of course Alice and Quirk. Both seem to be sleeping peacefully. You'd never think to look at them and that they'd been completely insane not so long ago. Alright, everybody listen up. I told them how we'd found the number 1 bomb in the garden. And how, judging by the numbering on the 2 bombs we'd found so far, there was probably a number 2 bomb out there. And we know there's a number 0 bomb out there too.
Oh, this is bad. What are we going to do?
Well, I think Alice mentioned something.
There should be an emergency deactivation password.
Now, is
You
our
enter that
password for the
device
0 bomb
should,
going to be the working for these other ones too?
deactivate. You see it right here. There's a port. If we can find the password input device, we just connect it here.
It might be different, I
Then
think.
we can enter the password.
So if we have the password, we can deactivate them?
Oh, whoa, hold on a second. That's great and all, but we need that password input device she was talking about. Without that, we're still boned even if we did have the password.
Yeah. That's why I want all of you to let me search you.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me. Chances are whoever planted those bombs is in this room. There's also a good chance they've also got the device we need to deactivate the bombs.
So you're planning to search us for it?
Exactly.
But...
No buts. If you refuse, then I'll assume it's because you've got it and you planted the bombs. Unless you want that, I suggest you cooperate. Clear?
Clover doesn't have anywhere she could
Good.
hide it, so we're
Now
fine.
who's going to be first?
They probably all have something else random they don't want to have found. Wait.
Huh?
You only need to search one person.
What? Why?
Because I figured out who did it. I know who did it. The words were out of my mouth before I'd even realized it. I realized saying them.
How can you... There's no way.
We know it's Dio, I would think, because he knows the thing to get rid of it. I met Fia's gaze and nodded, then turned away. I know who set the bombs. That person. Okay, a few of these are from different timelines. But we know from the fact that Dio had the 0 thing.
Objection!
The room was suddenly silent. Kotuaru! Oh, wait. English. It might not even let us because we don't know the rest of it. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's totally fine. I think we got to move one more section down. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got to go another section down. Awesome. Okay, cool. But we can go down this way to an end. Let's do that. Or we hit Betray, I think. I'm a robot, so I hit Betray. Once we do this, we'll probably call it. I'll probably fall over. Good night, Joy. Thanks for hanging out. We stepped out, and so the others finally got well.
Why?
I didn't have an answer for her. All I could think about was that white liquid. What was it? Some kind of discharge? Blood? No, it could be blood. This game is really good. Phoenix Wright is being released on PC. I've played through like all of them at least twice. Blood wasn't white, that's insane. I was lost in thought when Luna spoke.
I'm going to the infirmary.
Don't you want to see the results?
Why? I already know what they're going to be.
Her unusual warm personality seemed to have gone cold. Oh, cool, Dim. That's awesome. Whether it's because I'd chosen Betray or because she'd noticed that something was wrong with my body, I couldn't say.
Excuse me.
And with that, she was gone. I turned back to the projection. With heavy steps, I headed toward Kay, Dio, and Tenmyoji.
Results, please.
Were they the only ones here? Yep, and we're a jerk. Now, do we leave, or we might die? I would never. I can't imagine me hitting Betray on any of these options. To be fair.
Points have. Please check.
What the hell?
Sigma has 9 BP?
See? I told you! The bastard's finally showing his true colors.
You're still a jerk, Dio.
What the hell are you doing? Clover
Hot
isn't even
kettle
voting.
black.
I have misjudged you. I never thought you would do something so cowardly.
I have to fill out the entire flowchart. Nothing I could say. I had chosen Betray on my own volition, but had I really pressed that button of my own free will? The more I thought about it, the more I felt as if some other force had guided my hand to the button. Perhaps it had been fear? I was scared by the white fluid that had appeared on my palm. Maybe that had been the tipping point, and I had decided that I had to escape as soon as possible. Dire consequences. If I got out, then the nightmare would be over. That's all it was, right? A nightmare? It couldn't be real. White blood was insane. Impossible. That was when I looked up and saw the others staring at my hand. Balls. I quickly put my hand behind my back, but it was already too late. They moved toward me like wolves closing in for the kill.
Sigma? What was that?
He was cut. It must have been blood.
But why was it white?
Isn't that obvious? He's not human.
Not human?
No! What are you saying? Of course I'm human. I'm 100% human.
Then explain that white stuff.
I swear to G, man. I have no idea what it is. You have to believe
I'm
me.
afraid you're not being very convincing.
Oh, you're one to talk. We can't even see you. You could be a robot. It's not even a suit. That's just you. Robot you.
No, that seems extremely unlikely. However bad my amnesia might be, I am quite sure of my humanity. I am, without a doubt, not a robot.
Then probably just programmed you to think that way.
Alright, it's pretty obvious this guy's dangerous and probably unhinged. We should take him down.
I agree.
Looks like there's no other way. Now that he's got 9 BP from stabbing Clover in the back, there's a good chance he'll try and get out of here by himself.
Hey, hold on a minute. Let's not do anything rash. Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I spun around and ran for the number 9 door.
No, I don't think so!
No! Quickly, use my robot strength. Let go of me. I was no match for all 3 of them. Before I could take 2 steps, I was on the floor, pinned. The desperation was only getting stronger, however, and I writhed and twisted in a futile attempt to get free. Balls, you have to let me go. This is all some kind of mistake. A misunderstanding. It's a conspiracy.
So, there's a conspiracy to turn your blood white? You're a funny guy.
Stop trying to get away. It's over.
No, get off me. Let me
If you
go.
won't calm down, then you leave me no choice. I'd hoped we could avoid this. Try not to struggle too much.
No, don't. What? What was that? What did he do? The first thing I felt when I woke up was the hard pain of a bruise all the way across my neck. Kay must have suffocated me. My head felt like I had been stuffed with cotton and I had to pull out a hand to steady myself as I stood up. Where am I? Why is there a gun on the ground? You see that? How long I had been out? My foot bumped into something and I looked down to see the injection gun. Oh, glass vial labeled Soparil was attached to it. The anesthetic. After choking me, they made sure I wasn't getting up in the near future. That meant I could have been asleep for a long time. Oh, this is going to be a weird ending. Where's everyone? I glanced around the room. This is going to be a bad ending. It was empty except for me. It took me a moment to realize what was especially odd about that. Even Quark and Alice had disappeared. What the heck's going on? That was when I noticed it. Quark and Alice weren't the only things that had disappeared. Two other things, two other very important things were also gone. My bracelet and my left hand. For a long moment, I just stared, dumbstruck. What I was seeing couldn't possibly be real, but there was a smooth cross-section of my arm where a hand should have been. A thick white liquid dripped slowly from the stump. Wow. A scream clawed its way out of my body, taking my mind with it. Then, after that, nothing. That was a cool ending. Yeah, they didn't even wrap it up. Rude. They didn't even care. Wow. Super rude. Ugh. Okay, now to make absolutely sure we have any ends, we have an end here. We have something we can't figure out, like who planted the bomb. This is also a who planted the bomb. So we died. I didn't like that one either. That was, oh. Dio ending, this one ending. This is... How can Phi and K be safe? I think this is where we need another dose of the Radical 6 thing. And here is a password. This is probably like the real ending down here, is my guess. And I'd imagine there's one or two other like full endings. But that's as much as we can do on the magenta door and the cyan door, which means we're going through that next door. Tomorrow.